Welcome to the Living Lighter show. I'm your host, Sally Thibault. Today we're talking how to overcome the doubt voice that lives in your head. Great one for the end of this year. Hello and welcome and happy 2nd of December. We're now 2 days into summer here in the southern hemisphere. Isn't it amazing? And of course, it is hot here in Queensland. When I walked this morning at 5 o'clock, it already felt like about 28 degrees and 80% humidity. So we're in for a hot summer, I think. The weather that we normally get this time of the year is actually the type of year weather we tend to get in February, which is really interesting. So I'm really excited to bring this show to you and help you really understand the impact of doubt and how it can just stop you doing so much. And so today's show is all about that. It's all about how to transcend it and really finding out what's going on for you when the doubt is there. Because like anything, doubt is there for a reason. So I wanted to we'll get straight into this because I want to do this in 20 minutes. And I also want to make sure we do an EFT session at the end. Just checking that my aircon's on because it doesn't feel like it. Gotta love Queensland in the summer. I actually kind of like the humidity. I don't mind it at all. I think it's all the years that I grew up or worked in the gym when I was constantly sweaty. This reminds me of that. All right, let's talk about silencing and overcoming the doubt that lives in your head. Now, first of all, why does it happen? Well, our brains are naturally wired towards doubt because it's familiar and it keeps us safe and it keeps us playing small. You know, it's comfortable. You know, when you're trapped in that kind of inertia feeling and it's such a comfortable, it's part of your comfort zone. And when that happens, it just, it just feels right. The brain doesn't want you to be uncomfortable. It just doesn't. That's how our brain is wired. It's there to protect us. So whenever we're in an uncomfortable situation, of course, cortisol floods the body, and you go into that flight, fight, and freeze response. Now, as we know now, of course, this year, 2020, has been a really challenging year for many people, and that cortisol is causing all sorts of grief, especially when it comes to visceral fat. But also, it's like when you're in that doubt, you can't think clearly. And so you tend to create procrastination, you'll make excuses, and it'll just feel like you're trapped. So to understand that all doubt is actually based on a past story. That's it. It comes from times and, the people, the words, and the events of your past that made you feel vulnerable. And when you felt vulnerable, it was like all those stories just got trapped in the emotion center of the brain. So when you step out to do something outside of the comfort zone, those are the stories that keep coming back to you. Who do I think I am? What makes me think I'm so smart? I'm not qualified. I'm fearful of judgment. I don't like that sense of being uncomfortable, being vulnerable. And it just stops you. It just stops you dead in your tracks, because then you start with the excuses, things like I don't have enough time, I'm too busy, I've got other things on, I'm exhausted, blah, 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 blah. Just an excuse. That's all it is, just an excuse. Because, as I said, your brain doesn't like you to be uncomfortable. It's not a comfortable place to be. As I shared this morning on an Instagram story, overcoming doubt was what I needed to do in order to write the books. When I first wrote the book, David's Gift, it really was a vulnerable place for me to be, because it was a story of our family. Now, at the time, for those of you who don't know, it's the story of our family's journey following our son's diagnosis with autism. And that at the time, there were no books written by family members. And I wanted the book to be truthful, really truthful. And so I had to go to the dark places of that. And that really set me up, I believe, for judgment. And I can tell you during that time, because it took me from the time I thought about writing it till the actual time it was published, about 2 years. And a lot of that was just getting stuck, stuck in that doubt. Because who did I think I was to write a book about autism? Who did I think I was? And so I didn't have tapping back then. It was amazing when I kind of stepped out of having that fear of judgment and that fear of being vulnerable, that it was actually not me writing in the end. I often used to think, where did that come from? It's like when you let go of the doubt, you begin to co-create. And the same thing happened when I was writing the book about tapping to reclaim you. I often thought, who do I think I am to write this book? There was lots of books about EFT, there's lots of books about tapping, and there's a few books that were bestsellers. But I just knew in my heart that I wanted to write one specifically for women to reclaim who they really were. And so the book came about from that, and it was able to, when I was lucky, I had tapping then, because I was able to tap through it. All that stuff about, who do I think I am? I'm not qualified. There's other people better than me. And I thought, you know what? As I tapped through it and kind of went back to the old stories that I was telling myself and got to the root cause of them, I often look back on that book now and I actually can't remember where some of those chapters came from. They actually were, it was like it was being downloaded. And that's part of the beauty of when you let go of the doubt, is that, and you let go of the fear of judgment, it's like another part of you takes over. And that's with everything. It's the same when, when I've got a couple of clients at the moment, we're working on releasing weight. And some of the things that come up all the time are, I failed in the past. What makes me think I can do this now? And when that happens, it really is, it's like a light bulb moment, because it's not just about the weight. It's about everything else in your life. Weight's just a product of an emotion not dealt with. So when you're going through this, I want to release weight, but I failed in the past, nothing's worked for me in the past, here I am again, all that stuff. They're these little golden nuggets that help you figure out what's actually going on. And to me, that's where doubt is so, it's just one of those emotions that you can, when you can find the root cause, when you can figure out where this started, and you can tap on it, and you can do these other things I'm going to share with you in a minute, what there's other things that you can do. But when you can do that, it's like you connect to some other source. It's quite extraordinary. It's like doubt keeps us trapped in like a third dimensional world, where we're worried about what other people think, or we're worried about judgment, or am I going to be good enough? And really that's just third dimensional human being a human. We're far greater than that. I love to read. One of the things I love to read most of all is I love to read biographies. I love to read autobiographies. I love to read stories about people who have, come from quite, normal backgrounds, or even backgrounds of trauma or poverty, and then risen up through the ranks. Every single one of them will say sometime in their story, I doubted myself, and I had to just work through it. And I think that's just extraordinary when you think about the number of people who are extraordinarily successful. Every single one of them has had to overcome doubt at some point. There's not, well, at least in the books that I've read, there's nobody that's been successful, and I'm talking about, great success, who hasn't at some point wondered if they were doing the right thing, who hasn't doubted themselves and their abilities. And so it's about working through that. So I wanted to share with you a kind of recipe I put together on the weekend. I was thinking about all the stuff that's going on at the moment. I was thinking about all the, the media and the stories that are being told, and this whole thing about, the US elections and what's going on with the pandemic, and then businesses, struggling, and relationships breaking down. And I thought, what is it that I could share with you that to me is like a recipe for how you get through doubt, and how you stop falling into fear, and how you lift yourself out of it. And I came up with what I call the messy recipe, MEES, the messy recipe. One is meditation. Honestly, if you're not meditating right now, you're really doing yourself a disservice. So a great thing the other day, it said, if you can't find 20 minutes to meditate, you need to find an hour to do it. It, to me, is not a day goes by that is not my number one thing to do, because it just calms your brain. It just slows everything down. It just allows you to think more clearly, allows you to connect to your heart and connect to source. And that's so important right now. So number one, meditate. Number two, EFT. Of course, that goes without saying. Number three is exercise and eat for wellness. If you're not exercising, I saw a great t-shirt the other day that said, move your body to change your mind. You have to move your body, kind of, get the endorphins flowing, and they're so critical for you. And when you move your body, it's like you let go of those negative feelings for a moment. The walk kind of clears it out for you. And I, of course, always add some strength work, because I just like that feeling of being strong. This morning was sweat and strength. And eating for wellness, that if you're not eating to enhance you and enhance your energy, if you're eating foods that your body is trying to struggle with, that create inflammation, you're not yourself. You don't feel good, and because when you don't feel good, that's when the doubt starts. Number four is stop watching, reading, or listening to anything that involves fear or makes you judge yourself. If you've got it on your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed, and you're following a whole heap of gorgeous people or successful people who just, with their hands on the hips and look like they've got their act together, and that makes you feel insignificant, or that you can't be yourself, there's something inherently wrong with you, then stop following them. Don't listen to anything that makes you feel, oh, gee, I wish my life was like that, because that's only Instagram, Facebook. The last one is to start watching, reading, and listening to people who empower you. And I put a list up on my Instagram on Sunday, I think it was, of the people that I love to follow. Dr. Zach Bush, Dr. Christiane Northrup, Ali Brown, Glambition Radio. Who else? I should put a link here of all these people that I set out to listen to every day, that just elevate me, that just make me feel inspired, that talk truth, and kind of have that feeling that, I can do this too. So make sure that you're following people that really inspire you, but elevate you. You'll elevate those endorphins. And as I said, if you're listening to somebody or watching something or reading something that makes you go, you don't need that in this world. Right now, it's really, I think anyway, at the moment, we should be culling things all the time. Only listen to really, inspiring, truthful, honest people. So that's the MES recipe. Meditate, EFT, exercise and eat for wellness. Stop watching, reading, or listening to anything that involves fear or making you judge yourself. And start watching, reading, and listening to people who empower you. Because the doubt comes when you stop trusting and believing in yourself. And, I love the Marianne Williamson poem Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Doubt simply stops you in your tracks and has you playing small. Just has you playing small. And that's the brain's natural default. We have, 6,000 thoughts per day. Of that, that builds on the train, that they're called trains of thought. And of that, 95% of the thoughts you had yesterday, and of that, 85% of those 95% are usually negative about yourself. So really watch what you are thinking about yourself, what you're surrounding yourself, and in all cases, surround yourself with people who honestly believe in you. Surround yourself with people who honestly believe in you. It is so critical. I'm really, really fortunate in my life, I must say, that I have really been able to have that in my life. I have a husband who believes in me. I have children that inspire me. I'm surrounded by friends who truly are powerful people, and they are on their own paths. And so make sure you have they say that your people that you associate with, you think like. So just make sure that you're surrounding yourself. I'm just trying to get this camera up. Sorry if I'm just look like I'm doing something different. I am. Trying to get the camera up. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with positive people who can say to you, you know what? I think you can do this. I believe in you. And when you doubt, they'll say to you, it's just a story. It's just a story. That's all it is. All right. I'm going to finish off now with, just have a look at some of the comments. Hey, Savannah. Great. Yep. Hey, Deb. Yes, Deborah. Meditation, EFT, exercise, eat for wellness, stop watching, listen to fear. You and I both know about that. Start listening to those who inspire and elevate you. And do you know what I'm starting to do now is every morning, so I go for my walk in the morning because it's early. Was it this morning? 4:30. Ugh, so hot. 4:30. And then I come back, do my workout, and then meditate. And then I spend some time watching. I love Dr. Christiane Northrup at the moment. She does an Instagram live every day. So I'm listening to her. Laurie Ladd is the other one who I really enjoy listening to. And it's just so lovely to listen to these people. Let me know, actually, in the comments below, is there anybody you're listening to at the moment who does really give you that elevation? But they're wonderful people, and that's what you've got to do. Jerry and I are challenging ourselves to switch up our TV because we've gotten into the habit, at the end of the day of plonking ourselves down and eating dinner. We don't watch mainstream media news, but we were watching other news. And you know what? So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to end my day inspired. So that's what we've been doing lately. It's just making sure that we are constantly in that state of elevation. And when we feel the doubt, ask the question, what's going on for me? All righty. Yeah, thanks, Deborah. Thanks for those hearts. That's lovely. All right. Now, let's tap. Yes, just get hard if you'd like to tap on this. And we're going to tap on the doubt. And I'd like you to, this would be a great one to kind of keep in mind while you are, those doubts. Remember those doubts, they kind of flow in, don't they? They flow in sometimes when we're not even thinking about them. And, they're like those, I call them those drive-by thoughts, that sort of get you. So be very mindful of the thoughts, know when you're doubting, and let's tap. I want you to think of something at the moment that you are doubting yourself about, whether that's speaking your truth, whether that's a new business idea, whether it's releasing the weight, whether it's to write a book, whether it's to do a video, whatever it is. Just think about, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the level of doubt I have? And when you feel it, and of course, remember to keep a journal handy so that you can write down any thoughts. All right, so let's tap, shall we? Here we go. Even though I doubt myself, I know it keeps me playing small. Even though I know I have this fear of judgment or failing, and I know it's there to keep me playing small. Even though my natural default is to doubt myself. Whenever I think I want to change something, I know it's just keeping me playing small. Okay, let's go, let's tap. I know this doubt is trying to keep me safe. I'm scared of putting myself out there. What if I make a mistake? What if I'm judged? What if people criticize me? I know this doubt is just keeping me playing small. I'm open to understanding what the fear really represents. I'm open to figuring out when it first started. It's just keeping me playing safe. I'm scared of putting myself out there. What if I make a mistake? What if I'm judged? How will I feel if I fail? This pain of criticism. I know this doubt is keeping me safe. I'm open to understanding what this is really all about. Just take a deep breath and let it go. So kind of just open up your awareness now and just be mindful. You'll probably, the thing with doubt, there's probably heaps of stories, from your childhood. For me, and I'll be very honest, it was judgment, being judged all the time. And it's because I was short. I never felt like, like a big girl or something. It's really interesting when you go back and really look at the depth of it. But doubt is just keeping you small, playing safe. Let's not do that anymore. It's not like that anymore. Let's just step out there. Let's do a reframe. I've written all this down too today because I wanted to make this really powerful. All right, here we go. We're going to do a reframe. But remember, keep working on this. Even though sometimes I feel doubtful. Just an old habit. Even though I doubt myself so often, I'm willing to try trusting in myself. Even though this doubt causes me to procrastinate, it's just doubt. I choose to move through it. Tapping. I choose to move through this doubt. I choose to find where it started and release those limitations. Somebody made me doubt myself in the past. I choose to forgive them. I choose to forgive myself for limiting my own greatness. I choose to step out of the shadows and into my own light. I choose to release that doubt and honor my wisdom and intuition. I choose to write a new story and trust my intuition and wisdom. And take a deep breath and let it go. Okay, you can do the power pose here. It's really powerful to do this in the morning. So in the morning, when you finish your meditation, or you might be doing your journaling, or even after your EFT, I know you do all that every day, right? It's a great thing to do in the shower, just quietly. You run out of time, EFT is great in the shower. Just hands on your hips. Stand strong and tall. I know I'm doubting. It's just fear, and it's keeping me playing small. You just want to hold that space. Fill it up in your heart. Fill up that confidence in your heart. And give yourself permission to find where it is and what causes it. It's something everybody goes through, particularly when you're just about to experience success. It'll show up for you big time. It's just part of the imposter syndrome. You just need to find where it started and choose to release it. Doubt. It's just doubt. It's not real. It's just a story. I hope you've enjoyed that show today. Let me know in the comments below how that EFT worked for you. And I'm going to put, because I've got some camera issues again today, I'm going to put a link below. I have only one more week of strategy sessions. All my prices for my coaching will be going up in 2021. And I only have room for one more client before then. So you can either, if you want to chat to me now and then not start till January or mid-January if you're going away, I will honour the 2020 price. But as I said, I'm putting my prices up for the first time in 4 years. I'm very proud of myself. Talk about releasing the doubt. All right, everybody. I hope you have had a wonderful tapping. Stay safe and well. Well being the key thing. And I look forward to speaking to you next week on the Living Lighter Show. Let me know how you go. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Welcome to the Living Lighter Show. I'm your host, Sally Thibault. Today we're talking how to overcome the doubt voice that lives in your head. Great one for the end of this year. Hello and welcome and happy 2nd of December. We're now 2 days into summer here in the southern hemisphere. Isn't it amazing? And of course, it is hot here in Queensland. When I walked this morning at 5 o'clock, it already felt like about 28 degrees and 80% humidity. So we're in for a hot summer, I think. The weather that we normally get this time of the year is actually the type of weather we tend to get in February, which is really interesting. So I'm really excited to bring this show to you and help you really understand the impact of doubt and how it can just stop you doing so much. And so today's show is all about that. It's all about how to transcend it and really finding out what's going on for you when the doubt is there. Because like anything, doubt is there for a reason. So I wanted to we'll get straight into this because I want to do this in 20 minutes. And I also want to make sure we do an EFT session at the end. Just checking that my aircon's on because it doesn't feel like it. Gotta love Queensland in the summer. I actually kind of like the humidity. I don't mind it at all. I think it's all the years that I grew up or worked in the gym when I was constantly sweaty. This reminds me of that. All right, let's talk about silencing and overcoming the doubt that lives in your head. Now, first of all, why does it happen? Well, our brains are naturally wired towards doubt because it's familiar and it keeps us safe and it keeps us playing small. You know, it's comfortable. You know, when you're trapped in that kind of inertia feeling and it's such a comfortable, it's part of your comfort zone. And when that happens, it just, it just feels right. The brain doesn't want you to be uncomfortable. It just doesn't. That's how our brain is wired. It's there to protect us.